Kenya's tea export earnings rose 4% to 116 billion shillings. The commodity is the country's top foreign exchange earner. Joining us now from Kenya to talk about the increases, Sicily Kariuki, Managing Director, the Kenya Tea Board. Cicely, thanks for your time. I just wanted to find out from you, what is purple tea? Does it look purple?
It actually is purple, takes on color quite close to a red wine.
Okay, so this is a new variety of tea that you are introducing to try and boost production. Just tell us a little more. Where is it growing? What sort of quantities are we looking at? And what sort of timeframes are we looking at going forward?
We've actually only gotten out of trials, field trials with the purple tea last year, and that is when the purple tea was also launched after several years in the field through trials. Now, the advantage about the purple tea is that not only will it help the industry in terms of diversification, but indeed it is unique product from Kenya which has more health attributes than the ordinary tea, and as it grows out in the field, it's actually purple instead of the usual green.
Absolutely. I think we're certainly looking forward to seeing it from this in this part of the continent. Let's talk about the tea sector in general in Kenya. So we had a 4% increase in value last year. Now, just in terms of the kind of issues that you have had to deal with, can we quickly run through those perhaps before we talk about where we're going forward?
Well, the usual issues that have confronted the industry by way of being barriers would be the rising cost of production. That has been unending, the rise in the electricity cost, the rise in the fuels, the rise in fertilizer as the other input, and those have sort of weighed down the return on earnings to the grower. Never mind that the earnings on the front side appear to have been positive, which is a welcome thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're also dealing with a new threat in the form of green tea. When I look at the numbers that you sent through this morning, we're saying that actually green tea consumption and production is increasing, while at the same time, you guys, while the black tea has been increasing, it's not been keeping pace.
Well, the positive thing about the growth in black tea is that the prices have remained stable, and indeed in a lot of cases have actually been increasing. But 5 years ago there was a situation of oversupply situation of a black tea, but we are doing everything possible to also get the message on the health attributes of black tea as well, because what you find in green tea you also find in black tea. It's just how the message is being told out there, and it's also an issue of consumer preferences. Yeah,
so of course you've got a lot of work to do, because I see that black tea production has almost been growing at the same pace as demand, so 3% on the same side, but at the same time when you look at the green tea, you look at a 6% average increase over the past 5 years. So how do you change and tailor your message so people understand actually when you are having green tea is the same as having black tea? I actually have a member of staff here who drinks nothing but green tea.
I think that the issue is not to try and destabilize the place of green tea for black tea. I think the issue is popularizing both at the same pace so that there is also choice in what the consumers are able to take. And I do appreciate that it's going to be hard work getting the consumers to actually appreciate the health benefits of black tea, as it were. But the beauty is that the fact that we are closing on to equilibrium means that by and large we are likely to have a situation of demand exceeding supply going forward. According to the FAO projections, we do think that beyond the year 2020, then we will be looking at a situation of demand being beyond supply. We also are working with the scientists to be able to establish more usages for tea away from a beverage that is used only for drinking, getting other products out of tea. And yes, it's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of investment again.
Yeah, so you're introducing a new word in my lexicon, health and black tea. I've not heard it often mentioned in the same breath. But let's talk about production. Now, the industry is still way off the record 399 kilograms that were produced at the height of tea production in Kenya before the 2008 financial crisis. When do you envisage that you're likely to reach that record again?
The projection that we have is that we are likely to record a very modest increase in 2013, not anywhere beyond 1%, to be at about 373 million kilograms by the end of this year. But yes, it is not likely we are going to see the 399 again. Never mind, the focus in when it comes to tea business shouldn't be so much on volume. Perhaps you would need to look at the the earnings side as well.
Yeah. What are you looking at in terms of production for 2013 versus 2012?
We anticipate that we'll stop at 373 million kilograms or thereabout, weather remaining stable.
So a mild increase, if I can mention that. Let's talk about the factors that have been affecting the industry and the kind of issues you're dealing with. Now, you mentioned here the rapid growth in per capita incomes in China as well as India. And then, of course, a new trend that you're picking up, that is the increase in tea consumption in the source markets themselves. How good is that trend?
I think that we are going to continue investing in developing or enhancing consumption, one, in the producing countries. And that's an issue that has been agreed across by the producing countries, that we need to spur consumption in the producing countries. And in the case of Kenya, yes, we'll be sustaining our local generic promotion and messaging to the general public. But equally important is that we'll be putting in a lot of investment and focus in what we have classified as emerging markets. That does not mean we are going to disregard the existing traditional markets.
Yeah.
We'll still keep with the market. So we'll be in three segments. We'll be in the local market, we'll be in the emerging markets, we'll also maintain our focus in the traditional markets.
Absolutely, and some of those traditional markets include the UK, and I was looking at your stats, they do show that actually consumption in the UK has dropped, and that's a function of course, other things that have been coming into play. Sicily Kariuki, Managing Director, Kenya Tea Board, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.